So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to get started. This is recorded just in case you miss anything. We can send you the link after. This is Jenna Henderson. She is with WorkMerc and she is the COO, and she's going to be introducing ServSafe Ops to us today.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking some time to learn a little bit about ServSafe Ops. I'll tell you that is a custom application developed for the National Restaurant Association. We are based out of the company that created it for them. We're based out of Philadelphia. And I am Jenna Henderson, their Chief Operating Officer. I've spent 20 years in the restaurant industry. So I've run restaurants and managed 100 store chains. So when we say it's for restaurant people by restaurant people, we really mean it. And really the start of this application, and I'll take you through a quick presentation and a demo, and then we can open it up for some questions at the end. The start of this, the genesis, was really about restaurants were getting bombarded with information at the height of the pandemic. It was changing every 12 minutes, it seemed like, and it was coming from everywhere. And so how do we kind of disseminate that information in a way that is easy and fast, and you don't have to sift through a million emails at the end of the night? But then there are some huge benefits to operational efficiency. And so I will take you through a presentation, and then again, we can ask some questions at the end. The idea is that we take this application for each individual restaurant and really help digitize standard operating procedures, provide access to training and information, use it as an internal communication tool, and then give you some data at the individual and restaurant group level for what's going on. So what you see here is really our tech stack. It is the features and functionality of the application. I'll start with task consolidation and say that this is a checklist tool. So it is everything that you do in the restaurant on a daily basis. Opening, closing, midday, bar, restroom, manager, all of those checklists for your individual restaurant will be loaded into the application, and you'll be able to see them in simple yes and no form. And I'll show you those in an app demo in a moment. There are also 7 set checklists from the National Restaurant Association preloaded into every app so that we can aggregate some data across the industry. And we'll talk more about data in a moment. But those are things like adhering to state-by-state mask wearing guidelines, ServSafe certification at the restaurant level. But your individual checklist will also be in here. So here's what I will say about checklists. I had a ton of them when I was running restaurants. They were laminated on a clipboard in the stock room. They had a dry erase marker taped with masking tape and a string. And all the things that I had to do were really important every day for customer service and food safety and sales building. And then I would get to the front door of the restaurant. The key would break. 2 people would call out, the toilet would overflow, and the truck wouldn't show up. And that was pretty much a typical day for any restaurant operator. And so the idea of this application is, how do I get the things done I need to get done? And how do I delegate that stuff to my staff while I'm putting out fires all day long? That's where our nudging comes in. It's really the foundation upon which our technology sits, and it's a reminder. So if you are a lunch and dinner restaurant, and let's say your opening checklist starts at 10 a.m., your staff that is responsible for completing that will get a nudge at 10 a.m. that says, hey, you need to complete this checklist. There's also an issues feature in the application, really, and I'll show you in a moment in the app, but that's if there's a broken piece of equipment, if there is a crack in the door, take a picture and let somebody know about it so that we can do something. There's a training feature as well. And this is whatever your restaurant group, whatever you have from a training perspective can be loaded in here. So manuals, videos, culture messaging, it can all be put in the training section. But then we also have that training section preloaded with over 80 restaurant training videos. So there are 6 free ServSafe COVID videos, 3 in English and 3 in Spanish, on delivery, takeout, and installation. And then there's also just over 80 restaurant standard videos, things like how to calibrate a thermometer, how to chop an onion, how to put a truck delivery away to avoid cross-contamination. All of those come preloaded in the app. There is a work text or work chat feature. And this is really about internal communication. So restaurant staff talk to each other all the time via text. But here we can use a restaurant platform to communicate about restaurant things. So we can set up groups similar to WhatsApp. So dishwashers, delivery drivers, restaurant managers, frontline cooks, and they can communicate back and forth in the app. And then as a restaurant owner or manager, you have access to that. And then there's an information feature, which is really news. We have it preloaded with all updated information on a state-by-state level from a COVID perspective. So things from the CDC, OSHA, the FDA, EPA, it's all preloaded in there. But then you can load your individual restaurant information in there as well. So if you have the schedule for the next 2 weeks, if you have a culture update that you wanted to put in there, if you had an update to a holiday schedule, all of that can be posted in the information section, and then your staff gets it in real time. So I will stop sharing for a moment and then go ahead and show you the actual application so that you can see it. Sign in here. Okay, I will share my screen so that you can see the app. Okay, so you'll see that it says ServSafe Ops at the top. It will tell you that that will be your restaurant specific logo so that it really feels like something for your specific establishment. I will take you into the messages section, and we talked a little bit about nudging when it comes to checklists, reminding you to do things. But our nudging platform can also be used for communication to the team. And nudges can be sent to an individual, they can be sent to a group, or they can be sent to your entire staff. And we can do 3 different kinds of nudges. So a poll nudge, as an example, please confirm you've reviewed the most recent rollout guide for a limited time offer menu item. And so not only are we sending that information to the staff, but we're saying, yes, I read it from their perspective. And then you can look on the manager dashboard and say, okay, all of my staff, but 2 people confirmed that they read the rollout guide. Let's go talk to those 2 people. There is a direct nudge. This is really just about sharing information. So here we have a link to a website, but you can put a video, a PDF, a picture in here. So for example, please review the most recent CDC guidelines, and they'll say, got it. And so again, we can determine who has looked at the information. There is a feedback nudge. That feedback nudge is an open-ended response. So we could say, do you have any friends that would like to work here at the restaurant? You can send that out to the entire staff, and their feedback will come to you in the manager dashboard in real time. I'll take you into the checklist section, and I'll show you here a restroom checklist. That is just an easy yes or no. And again, these would be specific checklists for your restaurants. We also have 10 to 12 restaurant specific checklists. So if you don't have your own, we can get you started. Every checklist is time and date stamped, and they will sign at the end. Hit submit, and you'll see that there's a check mark that says, yes, they've completed the restroom checklist, but a thumbs down for 3 things that were missed. So it allows us as restaurant owners and managers to really manage to exception. Instead of checking to see if everything was done, we can really check on the things that were not done. I want to go into this checklist for a moment and just show you, there's a little hyperlink that says checklist details in there. It's one of my favorite features of the app because when I was running restaurants, I was a maniac about a deep cleaning checklist. So on the first Monday of the month, everyone had to take everything out of the walk-in and clean the floor. On the second Monday of the month in my restaurants, it was about deep cleaning the oven. But with turnover, what it is, they may not know how to clean the oven. That's something that's a little bit more detailed than just a simple yes or no. And so what we can do is embed a micro learning here in the checklist. So we could have a video of how to clean the oven, a quick picture with instructions, or a manual. So with the checklist tool, we're saying, here's what you have to do. With the nudging, we're saying, here's when you have to do it. And with this feature, we're saying, here's how. So back into the issues section, I will tell you a true life story, which is that when I was running a restaurant, there was a leak in the 3-bowl sink in the back. No one told me about it until it flooded the kitchen floor. That was not a happy day for me. And so what we can do is, as an employee, if they see something they can take a picture. You guys will get to see my coffee cup here. They can annotate that picture and say what the problem is, save it, mark it as urgent or normal, and then select a category. So cleanliness, food safety, maintenance, as an example. And then those roll up into the manager dashboard in real time so that you can mark them as complete, call for service, prioritize them. And then we can start to see from a data perspective over, let's say, 30 days, if we had 27% of our issues were about food safety, maybe that's the focus of our next staff meeting. You'll see in the news section, as I said, there are links to external sites here with information that is updated from the National Restaurant Association, and we can update from the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association as well. But then you can put all of your restaurant-specific information in here. In the training section, in addition to the training that you would have, we also have app refresher training. So we will train your staff, but if they forget, as an example, what a nudge is, they can go right in here into the app and give themselves a refresher so that you don't have to. And then they would self-certify that they completed that training. And again, you could look at it on the manager dashboard. Then I will go to the library. And that library is really anything that you want the staff to have access to. So I had one restaurant say they would put all of their restaurant cards in there, or I'm sorry, recipe cards in there, so that it became like a pocket manual on the line. And you can search by recipe or the entire library of recipes. So I will stop sharing the app and pop back to the presentation just for a moment, and then we'll open it up for some questions. So I want to talk about data for just a moment. Really, the purpose of those 7 set checklists from the National Restaurant Association is so that I never have to hear the word super spreader again. I want to change the dialogue and use real-time information that is indicative of what I know restaurateurs are doing, which is trying to keep their doors open and trying to keep their employees and their customers safe every single day. And so if we can aggregate information that says, for example, 97% of the restaurants in New Jersey have confirmed that they are adhering to mask wearing guidelines for the local municipality, then we can start to change the dialogue about being concerned about going to restaurants and help the industry. Your restaurant specific information will not be shared. The only person that will have access to that is you. So here is the best part. It is free for 6 months. Because you are a New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association member, you get the application free for 6 months. And I want to say a couple things about free. First, it's not a 3-year contract with 6 months free. It is literally a no obligation 6-month free contract. It is also unlimited users and unlimited data. So there are other operational efficiency tools out there, none of which have partnerships with the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association or the NRA, and none of which have nudging, but they're out there. But a lot of them will say, hey, you can have 10 users for a set price and then you pay extra for additional, or you can have 10 checklists and then you pay extra. Ours are unlimited on both sides. We believe in rewarding restaurants for having more people and more process. Now, after that 6-month free period, there's obviously a cost. Our typical pricing is $89 per restaurant per month. And again, for unlimited users and unlimited data. But because you're a New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association member, we're giving you a greater than 50% discount. So you actually get it at $40 per restaurant per month. So what happens next? If you are interested, you reach out to me and I'll put my contact info both in the chat and also on the slide in a moment. We will upload all of your information for you. So we'll take all those checklists, all those trainings, and we'll do the initial upload. And then we'll teach you and your restaurant manager how to change and add to them on an ongoing basis. We will train your staff on how to use the app. And then what they'll do is download the app either from the Google Play Store or the App Store. You'll get a unique 5-digit code for your specific restaurant. And when they put that code in, when they sign in, all of your information comes pre-populated into their app. So it's a really easy setup. Now, someone will ask, so I'll say it ahead of time, what happens if people quit? the restaurant manager or user can go right into or restaurant manager or owner can go right into the dashboard, delete that user, and their app will clear out. So they won't any longer have access to your information. So my information is jenna@workmerk.com, or you can contact me through the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association. And I'm really looking forward to helping the industry and helping all of you really get started with operational efficiency and kind of one less thing to worry about every day. So I will stop the share now and just open it up for Q&A. I see that we have one question in here. Can employees pick up or drop shifts through this app? It is not a scheduling app. They can make themselves available or unavailable, but it is not scheduling. So you won't be able to pick up shifts through this application. Is manager approval available? You would have to approve them as a user, but again, it's not a scheduling app. We have another, can you gear this to a catering venue? Absolutely. That's the great thing about the tech. It's really industry agnostic. And so it works. We have hotels that use it. We have catering clients that use it, because at the end of the day, the checklists are yours. So whether they're opening, closing midday, or set up for a specific event, or catering order. So if it says, make sure that you add forks to the order and napkins and double check for accuracy, we can adhere the checklist to whatever you need for your specific establishment. You are welcome. Any other questions? Okay, so I am going to put, how long does it take? How long does it take to onboard something like this? I will tell you that depending on, the question is, how long does it take to onboard? We can have you up and running in just a few days, depending on the number of checklists that you have. That's really the part that takes the most time, kind of gathering all of the information that you have. But it really happens very quickly. So if you were to sign up with me, I get you a quick DocuSign contract and then send you off to what I think is a stellar operations and deployment team. They'll download your information and you can get started right away. Any other questions? Yes, the deck is absolutely available to share with others. What we can do is I'll send an email out to the participants on this call with a copy of this deck in it. It will have all of the information that we went over and also my contact information. And then I know that the New Jersey Restaurant and Hospitality Association is going to post the link to this recorded Zoom on their website, so they can go on and either schedule an individual demo with me, or they can view it that way and then just reach out to me with any questions. Any other questions? I'm watching the chat.
Yeah, so like Jenna said, we're definitely going to post this link and everything. And then she posted her email in the chat. Of course, you could reach out to us. We have her contact information also.
Yeah, and I really look forward to chatting with all of you. I know that this is a crazy time in the restaurant industry, so anything that we can do to help provide operational efficiency, we are on board for. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And thank you again for your time this morning.
Yes, thank you, Jenna. And thank you everyone for coming out.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right.
Have a good day, everyone.